Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about week 2 of the NFL and the game results. So to get started, we're going to talk about the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. The score was 13-10 with the New England Patriots coming up on top. Brady threw for 19-39 for a total of 185 yards and threw one touchdown pass to Dobson. And the Patriots had the highest points last season, but this season is understandable since they only have rookie receivers, so they have to get used to it again. The Jets, Smith threw for 15-35 with 214 yards. He had Powell rush for a touchdown, but Smith also threw 3 interceptions and took too much time, which for a rookie quarterback he needs to improve on because this isn't college anymore. This is the NFL and it's really different from college. The second game I'm going to talk about is the St. Louis Rams versus Atlanta Falcons, and the score was 31-24 with the Falcons coming up on top. The Rams had Bradford, who threw for 32 for 55, and he threw for 352 yards. He had 3 touchdown passes. He threw to Pettis and Austin had 2 touchdowns received. But he also threw an interception, but it's not that bad. Except maybe that interception could have led to a touchdown, which could tie the game, and it could have gone to overtime, and maybe they could have won. But the Falcons had Ryan, who threw for 33-43 for 374 yards with 2 touchdown passes. He had Snelling, who rushed for a touchdown pass, and Jones and Jackson, who received the pass from Ryan. And it was really a good game since you wouldn't expect really the Rams to have done so well against the Falcons, but overall it was a good game. Now we have the Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. The score was 24-23 in favor of the Bills, which was really a close game because at first it wasn't really interesting, and then it got really close. So the Panthers had Newton, who threw for 21-38 for 229 yards and 2 touchdown passes to Olsen and Jin. He also threw an interception, so again, that could have maybe let them win with a field goal or a touchdown. Then for the Bills, you have Manuel, who threw for 27-39 with 296 yards and a touchdown pass to Johnson. And Jackson had a rushing touchdown. Manuel also had an interception, so maybe I guess that canceled it out, so it was in the Bills' favor. The next game we're going to talk about is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears, which I know is a big rival because my brother is a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I did watch something on SportsCenter that said the Vikings never really won at the Bears Stadium, but they were close. But the Bears came up on top with a 31-30 victory. The Vikings had Ponder, who threw 16-30 with only 227 yards and a touchdown pass to Rudolph, and Robinson had an interception catch, I guess, and he ran it back to a touchdown. And also Patterson returned the kickoff, which was pretty cool. Ponder also had an interception. For the Bears, you had Cutler, who threw for 28-39 with 290 yards with 3 touchdown passes to Marshall and Bennett twice. He also had 2 interceptions, which one led to a touchdown for the Vikings. So, guess he needs to know what color his team is. The next game is the Washington Redskins versus Green Bay Packers, with a score of 38-20 in favor of Green Bay. The Redskins had Robin Griffin III with 26-40, and he threw 320 yards with 3 touchdown passes to Garson, Reed, and Moss. I guess that's pretty good for him since he just came back from his knee surgery, which last season was really gross to watch because his knee bent in a way it doesn't need to be bent. He also threw an interception though, so that wouldn't even really help if he didn't. For the Packers, he had Rodgers with 34-42, 480 yards with 4 touchdown passes. He threw to Cobb, Finley, and Nelson twice. And Starks also had a rushing touchdown, which led to the Packers winning. Now, the next game, Miami Dolphins versus Indiana Colts. For me, the Dolphins have changed since last season and are actually getting pretty good. The score was 24-20 Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins had Tannehill, which is 23-34 with 319 yards and 1 touchdown pass to Wilson. And Miller and Clay both had rushing touchdowns. For the Colts, you had Luck with 25-43 with 321 yards and a touchdown pass to Fener. And Bradshaw had a rushing touchdown. Luck also had an interception, which that could probably have changed the game, but it's surprising to see Miami is now 2-0, and hopefully they have a good season. Now I'm going to talk about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs, when America's team had lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 17-16, which was also a close game. The Cowboys had Romo with 30-42 and 298 yards with 1 touchdown pass to Bryant, while the Chiefs had Smith for 21-36, 223 yards with 2 touchdowns to Charles and Bow. No interceptions were thrown in this game, which was pretty surprisingly, since I always saw like Romo throwing picks, but he's learning who his teammates are. The next game is the San Diego Chargers versus Philadelphia Eagles, with a score of 30-30 in favor of the Chargers. Chargers had Phil Rivers with 36-47 and 419 passing yards, with 3 touchdowns to Royal for all 3 of his touchdown passes. The Eagles had Vic, who threw for 23-36 with 428 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had his own rushing touchdown. He threw to Jackson and Cooper, but they came up short. She came up short in the game. No interceptions were thrown in this game either. The next game is Cleveland Browns versus Baltimore Ravens. The score was 14-6 in favor of the Ravens. The Browns only had Whedon for 21-33 with 227 yards. Their points came from their field goal kicker. The Ravens had Flacco with 22-33 with 211 yards and 1 touchdown pass to Brown, and Pierce had a rushing touchdown. The next game is the Tennessee Titans versus Houston Texans, with the score of 30-24 in favor of the Texans. The Titans had Locker with 17 out of 30 for 148 yards for 2 touchdowns to Wright and Walker, while Shrub for the Texans had 26-48, 298 yards with 3 touchdown passes to Hopkins, Graham, and Daniels, while Foster also had a rushing touchdown. The next game is the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals, with a score of 25-21 in favor of the Cardinals. The Lions had Stanford, who threw for 24-36, had 278 yards, 2 touchdown passes to Johnson. The Cardinals had Palmer with 22-38, 248 yards, 1 touchdown pass to Ellington, and Mendenhall had 1 rushing touchdown. Palmer also threw an interception, but that didn't stop them from winning. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Next game is New Orleans Saints versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The score was 16-14 in favor of the Saints. Breeze threw for 26-46 with 322 yards, with one touchdown pass to Graham, but he also had 2 interceptions, which wasn't good because he almost lost it. And the Buccaneers had Freeman, who had 9-22 with only 125 yards, with a touchdown pass to Ogletree, and Foster caught one of those interceptions that Breeze threw and ran it back for a touchdown. But Freeman also threw an interception, so it's pretty much like they scored one from Breeze and then the other 2 offset. Awesome. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus Oakland Raiders. Score was 19-9 in favor of the Raiders. Jaguars had Henne this time with 25-38 with 241 and a touchdown pass to Harbor, while the Raiders had Pryor, which was 15-24 and 126, and Reese scored on a rushing touchdown. To me, this game wasn't really that interesting, but since I live in Florida, they have to show this game. I'd rather watch something else. Now you have the Denver Broncos versus the New York Giants, which to me, I felt like this is the big game because it was the Manning versus the Manning. It was a brother rivalry. What more could you ask for? The score was 41-23. Denver Broncos, though. So the older brother beat the younger brother. That's how it usually goes. For the Broncos, Peyton Manning, let me just clear that out, threw for 30-43 with 307 yards, with 2 touchdown passes to Thomas and Walker, and Marino had 2 rushing touchdowns. While for the Giants, Eli Manning threw for 28-49 with 362 yards and a touchdown pass to Scott, and Jacobs had 1 rushing touchdown. Also, Eli Manning threw 4 interceptions. I don't know what's the most in the game, but that's a lot of interceptions. I would have figured you would learn who your team is by now. So, for Sunday Night Football, yay! We had the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. The score was 29-3, Seattle Seahawks. I thought the 49ers were good. I don't know. The 49ers only had Kaepernick throw 13-28, 127 yards with 3 interceptions. I mean, he's short Elon by 1, so maybe they got together this summer and I don't know. The Seahawks had Wilson with 8-19, 142 yards, 1 touchdown to Lynch, who had 2 rushing touchdowns. He also threw an interception, but that didn't really matter because nothing really happened. Now for Monday Night Football, which was last night, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Seattle Bengals. The score was 20-10 in favor of the Bengals. Now most people had thought that maybe the Steelers would have at least a win in the first 2 weeks, but that's not the case. Steelers had Roxenberger, who had 20-37 with 251 yards and a touchdown to Moyle with 1 interception. And the Bengals had Dalton with 25-45, 280 yards and 1 touchdown to Bernard, who also had a rushing touchdown. That's it for this week on football. Stay tuned for next week and I'll cover week 3. But for now, comment down below if you like this video, like it, subscribe, tell your friends, just do anything. But please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!